It's summertime in Southern Maryland, and let me tell you, this is the time of year when homeowners really start looking around and asking themselves serious questions. Maybe you're sitting on your porch in Accokeek, Waldorf, Clinton, Fort Washington, Upper Marlboro, La Plata, Brandywine, White Plains, or somewhere in between, and you're thinking, do I still love this house? Do we need more space? Should we finally finish the basement? Is this yard too much now? Should we renovate, or are we just putting money into a home that no longer fits us? Is Southern Maryland still the place for us? Or is it time to make a move? And honestly, these are real questions. Because your home is not just four walls and a roof. Your home is your lifestyle. It's where your family gathers, where you cook out in the summer, where your kids grow up, and where your parents may come to stay. Where your pets run around the yard, where you rest after long days, and where your future plans feel either supported or they start to feel cramped. So today, I want to talk about what Southern Maryland homeowners and prospective homeowners are thinking about this summer. Are people staying put and renovating? Are they moving up? Are they downsizing? Are they still choosing Maryland? And most importantly, how do you know what that right decision is for you? I'm Lisa Pinder, your Southern Maryland Realtor, and if you're thinking about buying, selling, moving up, downsizing, or simply trying to figure out your next best step, this video is just for you. In the first section, we'll talk about summer makes you notice your home differently. There's something about summer that makes you see your home in a different light. In the winter, we're mostly inside. We're thinking about heat, holidays, school schedules, maybe snow days, and just getting through the season. But summer exposes everything. You notice the yard. You notice whether you have enough parking. You notice if your deck is too small. You notice if your kitchen works when family comes over. You notice if your basement could really be used better. You notice if the house feels too hot, too crowded, too dated, or too much to maintain. And here in Southern Maryland, outdoor living matters. People want space. They want a deck, a patio, a screened porch, a backyard, a fire pit, maybe even room for a garden. They want somewhere to host the family cookout, the graduation party, the crab feast, the birthday celebration, or just sit outside in peace with a cup of coffee. That's one of the reasons Southern Maryland continues to attract buyers. You can still find homes with yards, privacy, garage space, community, amenities, and more breathing room than you may get closer into DC. But that also brings up the bigger question. Is your current home still giving you the lifestyle you want? In section 2, we'll talk about the stay or renovate conversation. A lot of homeowners right now are looking at their current home and saying, maybe we should just stay and renovate. And I understand that. Maybe you bought your home years ago and your mortgage payment feels super comfortable. Maybe your interest rate is lower than what's available today. Maybe you like your neighborhood, your school zone, your neighbors, your commute, or your lot. And so instead of moving, you start thinking, let's update the kitchen. Let's finish the basement. Let's add a deck. Let's redo the bathrooms. Let's create a home office. Let's turn that formal dining room into something more useful. Let's make this house work. And that can be a smart move when the home still fits your long-term needs. But here is where I want homeowners to be very careful. Not every renovation solves the real problem. Sometimes the problem is not the kitchen. Sometimes the problem is the layout. Sometimes the problem is not the bathroom. Sometimes the problem is that you need a main level bedroom. Sometimes the problem is not the backyard. Sometimes the problem is that you no longer want to take care of a big yard. Sometimes the problem is not the finishes. Sometimes the problem is that the home simply no longer matches your season of life. So before you put $30,000, $60,000, or $100,000 into renovations, you need to ask yourself a few honest questions. Will this renovation truly improve the way that we live? Will it add value if we decide to sell later? Are we renovating because we love the home or because we're afraid to move? Are we fixing the real problem or just making the current problem prettier? That right there is super important, because a beautiful kitchen in a home that is still too small may not fix your issue. A finished basement in a home with no main level living may not fix your long-term concerns. A new deck may be nice, but if the commute, taxes, maintenance, or stairs are wearing you down, that deck may not change the bigger picture. So yes, renovating can be a great option, but it should be a part of a plan, not just a reaction. So in section 3, when moving up starts to make sense. Now let's talk about the move up buyer. This is the homeowner who says, we have outgrown this house. Definitively. Maybe when you bought your current home, it was perfect. It was your starter home, your first family home, or the home that got you into the area you wanted to be in. But now life looks totally different. The kids are older, you're working from home more, you need an office, you need more bedrooms, you want a bigger kitchen. You want a 2-car garage. You want more storage. You want an owner suite that actually feels like a retreat. You want a basement for guests, teenagers, in-laws, or entertaining. And in Southern Maryland, this is where a lot of buyers start looking at places like Accokeek, Waldorf, White Plains, Upper Marlboro, Brandywine, Plata, Hughesville, and even parts of Fort Washington and Clinton. Because they want more home, but they also want access. They may still need to get to D.C., Northern Virginia, Andrews Air Force Base, National Harbor, Alexandria, or other parts of the DMV. They want space. They don't want to feel completely disconnected. This is where Southern Maryland can be very attractive. You can find communities with larger homes, new construction, established neighborhoods, community pools, walking trails, larger lots, and homes that give you a completely different lifestyle. But here's the thing with moving. It takes strategy. You cannot just wake up one day and say, I want a bigger house and start touring homes without understanding the full picture. You need to know, what is your current home worth? How much equity do you have? Do you need to sell first? Can you buy before you sell? Do you qualify for the next home comfortably? What payment makes sense for your family? Are you prepared for the maintenance and cost of a larger home? Are you moving for space, lifestyle, schools, commute, family, or all of the above? And one of the biggest mistakes I see move-up buyers make is focusing only on the next house without having a plan for the current house. Your current home is part of the strategy. It may be the equity that helps you move. It may need repairs before listing. It may need staging, decluttering, painting, or better positioning. And in this market, how you prepare and price that home matters. So if you're thinking about moving up this summer, don't just start scrolling, start planning. Part 4, when downsizing starts to make sense. Now let's talk about downsizing, because this is a big one. A lot of homeowners in Southern Maryland are sitting in homes that once made perfect sense. The house was great when the kids were home. The yard was great when everyone was outside. The extra bedrooms were great when family visited. The basement, garage, and storage space all had a purpose. But now things may feel different. The kids may be grown, the stairs may feel like too much, the yard may be more work than joy, the utility bills may be feel higher than necessary, the house may feel too big, but not necessarily easy to let go of. And downsizing is not just a financial decision, it can be emotional. Because you're not just selling a house, you're closing a chapter. You may be leaving the home where your family celebrated holidays, graduations, birthdays, cookouts, and milestones. You may have years of memories in that house. So I want to say this clearly. Downsizing does not mean downgrading. Downsizing can mean simplifying. It can mean choosing peace. It can mean choosing convenience. And it can mean choosing less maintenance. It can mean closing a home that fits your current lifestyle instead of your past lifestyle. For some people, that may mean a one-level home. For others, it may mean a newer townhome. It may mean a condo. It may mean 55-plus community. It may mean moving closer to family. It definitely may mean leaving a larger lot and choosing something easier to maintain. And Southern Maryland has options for that. But the key is this. You want to downsize with a plan, not out of pressure. You want to understand your home value, your equity, your next purchase options, your timing, your moving costs, and what lifestyle you actually want next. Because the goal is not to just sell the big house. The goal is to land somewhere that feels right. So, in part 5, is Maryland still the place for you? Now, let's talk about the question some people are quietly asking. Is Maryland still the place for me? And I think that's a fair question. People are looking at taxes, insurance, cost of living, traffic, commute, schools, family needs, job changes, retirement plans, and the quality of life. Some people are considering moving farther south. Some are looking at Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, or Florida. Some are thinking about staying in Maryland but changing counties. Some are leaving in the city and moving to Southern Maryland. Some are leaving larger homes and moving to something simpler. But before you decide Maryland is no longer for you, I think you need to ask a deeper question. Is Maryland an issue, or is the current home no longer fitting your life? Because sometimes people say, I need to leave Maryland, when what they really want is a different neighborhood, a different home style, a different commute pattern, or different lifestyle. Maybe you don't need to leave Maryland. Maybe you need to leave the house that no longer fits. Maybe you don't need to move out of state. Maybe you need to move from a busy area into a quieter Southern Maryland community. Maybe you don't need a bigger house. Maybe you need a better layout. Maybe you don't need to downsize drastically. Maybe you need a main level living option with less maintenance. Maybe you don't need new construction. Maybe you need a well-maintained resale home with character and space. And maybe you do need to leave Maryland. And if that is the best decision for your family, that's okay too. But I always want people to make that decision with clarity, not frustration. In part 6, what prospective homeowners are thinking this summer. Now, if you're not a homeowner yet and you're watching this, you may be thinking, should I still buy in Maryland? Should I wait? Are prices going to come down? Is Southern Maryland still affordable? Can I find something that fits my budget? Is it better to buy new construction or resale? Should I keep renting? These are real questions. And what I would say is this: buying in Maryland still comes down to your personal plan, not what everybody on social media is saying, not what your cousin said, not what the headlines make you feel, not what happened 3 years ago. Your decision needs to be based on your income, your budget, your lifestyle, your timeline, your comfort level, and your long-term goals. Southern Maryland continues to appeal to buyers because it offers a mix of lifestyle and access. You can be near the DC metro area but still have space. You can find established neighborhoods and new construction. You can find townhomes, single-family homes, luxury homes, rural filling properties, and communities with amenities. But every area has a different feel. Accokeek is not Waldorf. Waldorf is not Fort Washington. Fort Washington is not Clinton. Clinton is not Upper Marlboro. Plata is not White Plains, and Brandywine has a different feel from Hughesville. That's why local knowledge truly matters. Because from the outside, people may look at a map and think these areas are all the same because they're super close together. But when you live here, work here, raise a family here, and help people move through these communities, you know they are very different. Some areas feel more rural, some feel more suburban, some are closer to commuter routes, some have more shopping and restaurants. Some offer newer construction, some offer larger lots, some offer a quieter pace. So before you decide where to buy, you need to understand the lifestyle of the area, not just the price of the house. Part 7, the summer homeowner check-in. So whether you are thinking about staying, renovating, moving up, downsizing, or relocating, I want you to do what I call a summer homeowner check-in. Walk around your home and ask yourself, does this home still support the way we live? Do we have the space we need? Are we using the rooms well? Is the layout working? Are the stairs becoming an issue? Is the yard a joy or a burden? Do we love the community? Do we feel connected here? Are we close enough to work, family, church, school, or the things that matter to us? Are we spending money to improve a home we want to stay in, or are we delaying a move we already know we need to make? And then ask this question: if we were buying today, would we buy this house again? That question will tell you a lot. Because if the answer is yes, maybe it's time to renovate, refresh, and love your home in a new way. But if the answer is no, then maybe it's time to start planning your next step. Not rushing, not panicking, not moving because someone told you to. Planning because a smart real estate move should give you peace of mind. In part 8, we're going to renovate or relocate. How to decide. So let's break this down simply. You may want to renovate if you love your neighborhood, your current layout works, you have enough space. The renovation solves a real problem and you plan to stay long enough to enjoy the improvements. The cost of renovating makes sense compared to moving. You may want to move up if you need more bedrooms, you need a home office, you need more storage. You want a larger kitchen or a basement. You need space for aging parents, older kids, or guests. Your current home cannot realistically become what you need. You may want to downsize if the home feels too large, the stairs are becoming too much, the yard is too much work. You want less maintenance. You want to free up equity. You want a simpler lifestyle. You may want to relocate if your job has changed, your family needs have changed, your cost of living goals have changed. You want a different pace of life. You want to be closer to family. You are ready for a completely new chapter. But no matter which category you fall into, the answer should start with a plan. Part 9, why local guidance truly matters. This is where having a local realtor truly matters because I'm not just looking at your house as a transaction. I'm looking at your full situation. What are you trying to accomplish? What season of life are you in? What does your next chapter need to look like? What are the numbers truly saying? What does the local market support? What improvements make sense? What should you not spend money on? What should buyers care about if sold? What communities should you consider if you moved? And because I live and work in this area, I understand the difference between the communities that may look similar online but feel completely different in real life. That matters because Southern Maryland is not one size fits all. Some buyers want quiet and land, some want convenience and shopping, some want new construction, some want no HOA, some want a pool community, some want a shorter commute, some want a larger home for family gatherings, some want to finally simplify. And my job is to help you create the best plan for your specific real estate needs. Not just to sell your house, not just to put a sign in the yard, but to help you make a decision that gives you peace of mind. And in part 10, we're here. Summer is a good time to start the conversation. Here's why I love this topic for summer. Summer gives you time to think. You're outside more, you're hosting more, you're seeing how the home really functions. You're noticing repairs, you're thinking about school starting again, you're thinking about fall schedules, you're thinking about the holidays coming later in the year. And if you are thinking about making a move before the end of the year, summer is not too early to start planning. In fact, summer may be the perfect time to start. Because if you need to sell, you may need time to prep the home. You may need to declutter, you may need to paint, you may need to make repairs. You may need to understand your home's value. You may need to get pre-approved. You may need to know what your next home option looks like. And if you're considering new construction, you definitely need to understand timelines, incentives, deposits, delivery dates, inspections, and what is included versus what is an upgrade. So even if you are not ready to move tomorrow, you may be ready to have that conversation. That's where strategy starts. Now, in conclusion, so if you're sitting in your home this summer wondering, should we stay, renovate, move up, downsize, or leave Maryland altogether, you are not alone. A lot of homeowners are asking that same question. And the answer is not always obvious. Sometimes staying is the right move. Sometimes renovating is the right move. Sometimes selling is the right move. Sometimes moving up gives your family the space you've been needing. Sometimes downsizing gives you the peace you've been craving. And sometimes relocating opens a new chapter. But the key is making that decision with a plan. So if you're in Accokeek, Waldorf, Fort Washington, Clinton, Upper Marlboro, Brandywine, White Plains, La Plata, Hughesville, or somewhere, anywhere in Southern Maryland, and you're wondering what your next step should be, I'd love to help you through it. No pressure, no rushing, just a real conversation about your home, your goals, your equity, your lifestyle, and what makes the most sense for you. Because real estate is not one size fits all. And whether you're buying, selling, moving up, downsizing, or just exploring your options, I'm here to help create a plan that gives you peace of mind. I'm Lisa Pinder with the Pinder Group of eXp Realty, and I help families throughout the Southern Maryland and the Washington, D.C. metro area make smart, confident real estate moves. If this video helped you, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and reach out if you're ready to talk about what your next chapter could look like. I'll see you in the next video.